Chapter 2, Stranger Than Fiction. It'll be so awesome. It'll be beyond words. Jesus coming to earth and those early streaks of glorious light, heralding the dawn of the Millennium, will defy description. The word tells us, "Eye have not seen, nor ear heard, neither have entered into the heart of man, the things which God hath prepared for them that love him." 1 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 9. This promise certainly includes the 1,000-year reign of Jesus. Brace yourself as we run and skip through the millennium. If the realities of millennium life seem too good to be true, don't let that stagger you. We will have to be remade to understand and to withstand its glories. But we all, with open face beholding, as in a glass, the glory of the Lord, are changed into the same image from glory to glory, even as by the Spirit of the Lord. 2 Corinthians chapter 3, verse 18. If this account seems like a science fiction fantasy, keep cool. Truth really is stranger than fiction. God communicates this same truth to us in His Word. "For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, saith the Lord. For as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts." Isaiah chapter 55, verses 8 through 9. It is a strange paradox that enlightened man, even at the turn of this millennium, is so poorly informed about this looming age. Though we are now veterans of the space age, many believers still hold such narrow perspectives, preoccupied with the sensual, the transitory, focusing on the things that can be seen, heard, touched, smelled, or tasted. It's like me and my little world of the now. Even so, deep inside each of us, there is a built-in knowing whereby we have a sense of eternal existence, a subconscious realization that death is but a vehicle into another plateau of continuing life. The poet Henry Wadsworth Longfellow caught it in the Psalm of Life. "Art is long, and time is fleeting, and the grave is not its goal. Thus thou art, to dust returnest," was not spoken of the soul. The mere 70 years of this phase of our existence is so brief when compared with forever. What could be more relevant than to explore that future? So let's raise our vision far above natural horizons and survey the Millennium era. Godly teachers have, in recent years, illuminated the two other pivotal events soon to occur: the Rapture, 1 Thessalonians chapter 4, verses 16 and 17, and the Tribulation era. By now, we have a pretty keen sense of both. But why are we still so foggy-minded about the great age that immediately follows them? The millennium has always seemed so hazy, almost like a fairy tale, hasn't it? And we tend to get it scrambled around in our thinking with heaven and eternity. Have you ever wondered about the coming 1,000-year Superworld? What will we look like? Who will be here on earth during the millennium? Will we see the saints of the past? What will be our relationship to the millions of non-Christians still alive after Armageddon? Will there be births and deaths? Will everyone be the same age? Will we just rest and play the harp? Will we ever sit other planets? What will our day-to-day life be like? Great questions, aren't they? Well, by the time we have cruised through this book, these and scores of other millennium questions will have been answered. Perhaps this dearth of millennium teaching until now stems from a divine strategy of timing. The books of Isaiah, Daniel, Zechariah, and Revelation were unfathomable to those of prior generations, like so much gobbledygook, so puzzling and resistant to understanding. Yet those believers of the past sensed their mysterious messages were deeply meaningful. Why then was their content so hard to crack? The writings of God are often like coded messages for believers only. Jesus' parables carried secrets for the privileged ears of his followers. They once asked him, Why do you speak to them in parables? Jesus answered, Because it is given unto you to know the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven, but to them it is not given. Matthew chapter 13, verse 11. And in 1 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 14, Paul tells us, But the natural man receiveth not the things of the Spirit of God, for they are foolishness unto him, neither can he know them, because they are spiritually discerned. Jesus described a myriad of conditions that would all impact one particular generation, those who endure the end times. Looking down through the corridor of time, he saw those who would be alive when the curtain of this age would close. I believe we're at that generation which Jesus saw and spoke about. And so, right on cue, we are experiencing the death throes of the age. It's little wonder interest in end-time prophecies has exploded. Like a divine kaleidoscope, ancient scripture have blazed out in new clarity. Even so, not just anyone will understand millennial secrets. For the words are closed up and sealed till the time of the end, and none of the wicked shall understand, but the wise shall understand. Daniel chapter 12, verse 9 through 10. The Lord deposited scriptural veins of prophecy. We now mine for knowledge as He fulfills the prophecies before our eyes. What could better demonstrate that our world isn't some rudderless ship driven by winds of accident? What better way to prove the haunting accuracy of the Bible? God laid prophecies like deposits of gold, then cover them for such an hour as this, He said. Daniel, shut up the words and seal the book, even to the time of the end. Daniel chapter 12, verse 4. He then wrote clear instructions as to their uncovering in the proper day. And in that day shall the deaf hear the words of the book, and the eyes of the blind shall see out of obscurity and out of darkness. Isaiah chapter 29, verse 18. Why, of course, since we are the believers these scriptures refer to, the time has now arrived for understanding of not only the rapture and the tribulation, but also of millennial life. Secret sharing. Several years ago, a strong impression came into my thoughts. It went something like this. Life is becoming increasingly complex as the present age stutters to a close. Believers will often know fear, discouragement, and even times of hopelessness. The remaining days will grow more treacherous, yet it is so very important that no believer falter just before reaching the prize of the high calling, that not one fall through despair just a few feet, a few heartbeats from the finish line. It is urgent that a clearer view of the glittering millennial prize be flashed on the screen of their understanding. They encourage and to steel believers, that none become castaways so close upon the millennium. Strengthen ye the weak hands, and confirm the feeble knees. Say to them that are of fearful heart, Be strong, fear not. Isaiah chapter 35, verse 3 and 4. One of the reasons I am releasing this new updated version of my previous book, Millennium Man, is to encourage, strengthen, and give hope to Christians in these last days. Knowing we have such a glorious time ahead of us makes our present difficulties easier to bear. For our light affliction, which is but for a moment, worketh for us a far more exceeding and eternal weight of glory. 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verses 17